Looking at our world from a theological perspective. This is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, June the 9th, 2022. It is currently 9:10 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from Abilene, Texas. Now, I'm going to do my very best to be calm here. All right. This is a situation where the potential would be for me to turn on the microphone and just start ranting and raving and yelling. And maybe that would be entertaining. Maybe it would be controversial. Maybe it would be dramatic. Maybe it would get me a few extra downloads. But I am going to try my best not to do that. I am very aware of my own fleshly desire here. I'm very aware of my own emotions here that is involved, but I have to be very careful that I don't just react here in a fleshly way. I don't just react in a way that's really self-serving, right? Because this is going to be very easy for me to turn on the microphone and say, "I told you so. I told you so. You were wrong." And there's going, and I will obviously point out where I believe the facts support what I was saying, but I don't want it to make it about that. I want it to be about something more important. I want it to be about something deeper than just, this is what I reported, this is what others were reporting, and well, tonight we have enough evidence to prove that I was right and they were wrong. Yes, I am going to have to cover that, but if it's just about that, then it's no value to you, right? I mean, so what? You'd be like, who cares? You were right, they were wrong. Big deal. See, that wouldn't really benefit you. This is about something deeper, something more important, and something that touches all of us, because every single one of us who claims to be a follower of Jesus Christ, every one of us who claims to be a Christian, we have a biblical responsibility. We have a moral responsibility. We have an ethical responsibility to speak truth and to put away lying. We have a moral and biblical responsibility to speak truth, put away lying, because God does not approve of lying. Lying lips are an abomination to him. He detests lying lips. We are not to bear false witness. We are to speak the truth, defend the truth, and we are to put away lying. But you know it, and I know it, that there are times that we have lied. Not just there are times, we lie probably more than we even want to admit. We lie to ourselves, we lie to others. Sometimes we lie to protect ourselves. Sometimes we lie to make ourselves look better than we are. But we all know that we struggle with telling the truth. But it is something that even though we may have problems with it, even though we may fall short of it, even though we may never, ever ultimately speak the truth until we are in a glorified state, it is something that we must pursue. And once the truth is revealed, we have to acknowledge our lie. We have to acknowledge our sin. We have to admit, hey, look, if I've learned anything in my Christian life, it's sadly, okay, I guess I should have learned this early on, but I still have a sinful nature, and I'm a sinner, and I still sin. And I want to avoid sin to the best of my ability. But in some cases, you sin. Now, the question is, after you sin, what do you do next? What do you do next, right? At some point, you have to hopefully, you can't go back and change it. Look, I wish I could go back and change every sin that I ever committed. I could erase it and make everything right. I wish I could, but I cannot. But all you can do is get back up after that and hopefully move forward. So when you're involved in something dealing with lying, hopefully afterwards you can just say, I was a liar and I'm going to move forward. And at least acknowledge that you were lying. Acknowledge that you were wrong. It's not easy to do because it goes after our very ego. It goes after our pride. It really goes after that. And we all know we struggle with this. Now, we don't like when people lie to us, but we're not quite as bothered when we lie to others. Lying lips bother us when we are the ones hearing those lies or receiving those lies, or we are negatively impacted by those lies. But we're not as bothered when we impact others with our lies. And there was a big lie, a gigantic lie, that was being promoted throughout the body of Christ from pulpits and clearly on Christian radio. A lie that was very instrumental in a very horrible thing taking place. Something that was tragic, something that was horrifying, and something that should still bother you today, June the 9th, 2022. It should still bother you, even though this event that I'm referring to occurred on January the 6th, 2021. Now it's June the 9th, 2022, but if you can go back to January the 6th, 2021, and you watched it unfolded, hopefully you were bothered. Hopefully you were sickened by it. Hopefully you had an emotional reaction, but it happened because of a lie. It happened because of lying. Now, let me just remind you again of what the Bible has to say here. Here's what the Bible has to say. Ephesians 4:25. Wherefore, put away lying. Speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. We are to put away lying. That is literally what the Bible tells us to do. Well, we could go on. There's a number of scriptures I have here in regards to lying. We could look at Proverbs 12:22. Proverbs 12:22, where we read these words: lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. Lying lips are an abomination. And it was lying and it was lies that were very instrumental in what happened on January the 6th, 2021. It was very instrumental. And if you don't remember, let me remind you. January the 6th, 2021, a mob of supporters of U.S. President Donald Trump attacked the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. They sought to overturn his defeat in the 2020 presidential election. That's what they were there for. That's what they were trying to overcome, because they had bought into the big lie that the election was stolen. The election was fraudulent, that these voting machines just changed the votes. And there was all this supposed overwhelming evidence. And they were going, and this had to be stopped. And if it required us to take back our government by force, then we will do it, because no way we were going to allow an election to be stolen. That was the lie that was told. Now, I remember over and over again that anytime I talked about it in a podcast episode, because I kept playing audio from Christian radio, a well-known Christian radio network, American Family Radio, which has stations all across the country, I kept playing audio where they kept claiming it's a lie, the election was stolen, it's fraudulent, these voting machines did it. They stated as dogmatic assertions of fact on Christian. I want you to hear this. Christian radio. Remember, God, lying lips are an abomination to him, but they kept promoting it and kept promoting it and kept promoting it. And I kept saying, what is Christian radio doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? This is horrible. How they kept promoting it, kept promoting it, kept promoting it, and kept promoting. And no matter how much evidence kept coming out that it wasn't true, they kept promoting the stuff about the Dominion voting machines. Now, people started being sued, and then some of the networks that were claiming it had to offer apology. Christian radio just magically stopped talking about it. They just kind of like they didn't offer a retraction. They're just like, we're just going to be quiet. We're going to be quiet. But still in some of their reporting, you could hear you could still tell that they had not changed their opinion that the election was stolen. Now, again, I'm not here to get into a political fight. I'm here to say that God hates lying lips. They're an abomination to him. He detests them. You as a Christian are to put away lying and speak the truth. You are not to bear false witness. This is like Christianity 101. But somewhere in 2020, 2021, 2022, Christians know we can just we can buy into any conspiracy theory, lie, make up stuff, and it doesn't matter because the truth doesn't matter anymore. But it mattered because, the Capitol building was attacked. because of a lie. Well, I don't know what you've been doing this evening, but if you just watched the prime time, January 6th committee just showed they just launched their case against Trump with a slew of allies refuting his election lie. What was the most powerful thing to me tonight, and I watched all of it, of the January 6th committee, the hearing, it aired everywhere except Fox News because, hey, Fox News doesn't want to actually cover this. No. But because, they were part of sharing and promoting the lie that they themselves had to finally back up on because they're being sued. Isn't it amazing that the network that promoted the lie that's being sued was like, hey, we're not going to air the January 6th committee because, guess what the committee started with? They started with demonstrating and proving and showing without question that people in the Trump White House knew that he had not won the election, that there was not any fraud of any significant amount to overturn the election results. They knew it. They kept telling him, and he did not care. He kept promoting a lie, which ultimately led to the attacks on the Capitol building. My thing is, he told lies, and Christians, because of their political affiliation, grabbed said lies and promoted those lies on Christian radio, the radio network that you would think speaks the truth and preaches truth. No, promoted a lie. And you know what? Those Christian radio networks, no, they don't care. They don't care. They're not going to apologize. You can email them all day. I doubt you'll even get a response. I've emailed American Family Radio, no response, multiple times. Look, people are being sued. Are you going to retract the lies? Nope. Now, the one program that was really promoting the lies, I think it just magically got removed from the air. But there was no hey guys, we messed this. We repent. It's one thing to believe a lie, speak a lie, and you do so because of carelessness, not enough research, or just your blind loyalty to a political party, whatever the case may be. That's one thing. The thing is, we all fall. We all make mistakes. The key, all you can do afterwards is acknowledge it. I messed up. I was wrong. It was my fault. I'm a sinner. Okay, and then accept it, and then do better. That's all you can do. But they won't even admit it. Here's just a little bit about what happened tonight. The January 6th panel launches case against Trump with a slew of allies refuting his election lie. The panel used videotape interviews with Trump's inner circle to argue the former president knew he lost in 2020, but pushed to overturn the election. Sitting with serious faces in sterile rooms, answering questions from the congressional investigators, ally after ally of former President Donald Trump, his daughter, the former attorney general, a former senior campaign aide, admitted that his claims that the 2020 election were stolen from him were false. The new testimony was part of an orchestrated launch by the January 6th committee and interspersing never-before-seen video of thousands of hours of sober testimony and the violence that unfolded to build a case that Trump was responsible for the events of the day. Whether you think he was responsible or not responsible, I don't care. I know this. He knew that he lost the election. Everyone around him knew that he lost the election. Everyone around him knew there was no evidence and kept telling him, and he kept promoting the lie. Now, I don't really care what he did. I don't even really care what anybody in the politics do, because I don't view that anything related to Christianity. I believe the entire political world is opposed to Christianity, and I don't care which party. I think it's all corrupt. But what bothers me is that believers, people who we're Christians, we believe in absolute truth. We stand for the truth. We preach the truth. They bought the lie, promoted the lie from pulpits, promoted the lie behind microphones and Christian radio stations, promoted the lie on social media, and whenever they would hear any supposed Christian calling out that lie, Well, guess what? You got attacked. I got emails calling me of Antichrist, demon possessed. I'm of Satan, that I'm blind. The election was stolen. And how dare you don't speak out against it? You're part of the problem. You're a liberal. You're a communist. You're just everything in the world. And guess what? You think I'm going to get any emails apologizing for all of that? Of course not. Of course not. None. You think the pastors who stood behind the pulpits promoting this lie are going to apologize? Of course not. Of course not. Now, again, I'm not even talking about that like, hey, they should be, they should be killed for what they did. They should be horribly punished for what they did. I'm not saying anything ridiculous like that or stupid like that. What I am saying is they should be able to at least admit and stand up and go, you know what, guys? I got so politically hijacked. I got so caught up in politics that I forgot that my loyalty, first and foremost, is to Jesus Christ, and that my loyalty is to Scripture, not a political party. But I set aside Scripture. I set aside what I'm supposed to do to promote a lie that was promoted by, Donald Trump. And I apologize to everyone, and I'm not going to do that again. That's all. That's it. I'm not asking for anything else other than that, just an apology. But you're not going to hear that. Because many people, no matter what evidence is permitted or presented, they're still going to believe the lie. A former Attorney General, Bill Barr, testified, and I quote, "I made it clear that I did not agree with the idea of saying the election was stolen and putting out this stuff, which I told the president was," and I cannot repeat the next word, but let me just tell you, it has something to do with a bull, all right? That's all I can tell you. It has something to do with the bull, and it's not a thing that I can say. In other words, he knew that it was all a lie, and they go on and they talk. What's even more is this. In one particularly shocking moment, video of General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, elicited gasp when he explained how after Vice President Mike Pence called pleading for military help to quash the riot, Mark Meadows, the White House Chief of Staff, called to ask help and dispelling the image that Trump was no longer in charge. Hey, it's looking like Trump was no longer in charge. Hey, I need you to change the narrative. I watched this. And the general was like, this is politics. This is just all like nobody cared about truth at all. It was just crazy. New video was played showing police being brutalized by the mob, airing footage taped by from a documentary that included audio, unlike much of the silent security video aired during the impeachment proceedings. It just goes on. It just goes on. It's just nuts. I mean, they clearly demonstrated that everyone knew that it was a lie. And even though they knew it was a lie, they promoted the lie. And that promotion of the lie, it led to all kinds of crazy things. But it even got worse during the shocking committee. Trump's shocking comments that Mike Pence deserves to be hanged on January the 6th revealed at hearing. Former President Donald Trump said his Vice President Mike Pence deserves to be hanged during the January 6th riot at the Capitol. They got the testimony, and it's just, President Trump's calling for his vice president to be hanged. Why? He wants him hung. Why does he want that? Why does he want him to be killed? Because he would not go along with the lie. And Trump was like, it's the lie, sell the lie, sell the lie, sell the lie, sell the lie. And a willing body of Christ was like, yeah, I believe it. It's a lie. It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. The election was stolen. Trump didn't lose. And then Christians took it, Christians promoted it, and Christians shared it. And then when I turned on the microphone, playing clips from Christian radio going, they're promoting this lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. I was attacked for trying to say it's a lie. I had people try to send me all kinds of things, data supposedly. See, this doesn't make any sense. See this, just try to, and I'm like, it's not true. It's not. Well, the people, look, you were sitting at home trying to prove to me that the election was stolen. The people in the White House knew that it wasn't. Meaning you were trying to defend a lie. Now, what do we do with this? Here on June the 9th, 2022, what do we do with all of this? I think there's just some basic things that we have to realize. As Christians, we have a moral and ethical and biblical responsibility that whatever's happening in culture, whatever it is, I don't care if it's something with the pandemic, I don't care if it's something with an election, your job is to always be on the side of truth, not on the side of Republicans, not on the side of Trump, not on the side of Democrats, not on the side of any political party, not on the side of any denominational, whatever denomination you're a part of. You're not to be on any side other than the side of the truth. That's the side you're to be on. Now, you're going to find times that you were not on the side of the truth, that you heard something, you just accepted it and you shared it. But your responsibility is to try to be on the side of truth. So whenever something is going on and there's claims and there's conspiratorial claims, you know what you do as a Christian? You go, I'm not going to say anything right now because maybe you don't know what the truth is, but you're going to I'm going to wait. I'm going to and I would recommend everyone stopping and not making crazy claims, jumping to conclusions, and let's see if we can find the truth. Because sooner or later, the truth will come out and then we can speak truth. Your job is to try to not say something until you know the truth and then do due diligence. Do your duty to do the correct kind of research where you're not just listening to one side, you're listening to all sides. You're looking to primary sources, not secondary sources, verification. And then if you're going to say something, then you can speak based off truth. The fact that the whole election was some grand conspiracy, it was crazy. And as soon as people started being sued, guess what? All of a sudden, their tunes started, all of a sudden, Sidney Powell and Giuliani, and all of a sudden, everyone started backtracking. And all of a sudden, Newsmax started offering retractions. And all of a sudden, everyone started caving. Everyone started crumbling like a house of cards. That should have given every Christian oh, no, man, I bought into this stuff. Look, a lot of Christians talk a big game. Yeah, you talk that big game until someone knocks on your door and says, hey, we're going to sue you for $2 million. All of a sudden, those Christians talking that nonsense will be like, oh, we're so sorry. Yeah, you talk a big game until you're going to end up sued for spreading a lie. Your responsibility as a Christian is to just, when what's going on, is find out what the truth is. Make sure you're on the side of truth. And that means sometimes I don't say anything. Look, everyone's running around on social media. No. And you just try to encourage believers. Stop. We want to wait and see, because if this is wrong, we're going to look stupid. Just think about this. When you're out there yelling and screaming about an election being stolen, and come to find out that even the people in the White House knew it wasn't true, and you're out there yelling and screaming about it on social media, guess what you just demonstrated? That Christians don't care about the truth, don't know the truth, don't preach the truth, so why should they trust you on anything? You literally hurt your credibility, and you hurt yourself, not on the basis of doctrine, theology, but on the basis of a political lie. Christians have got to do a better job of this. Years and years ago, when I had a different podcast, I used to talk, Alex Jones, he's making this lie, and people would get mad at me and scream at me. And I'm like, that's a lie. We're all going to be microchipped and we're going to put in FEMA camps. This is a lie. And no matter how many lies I would call out, that I would be the bad guy. And I got discouraged, frustrated, mad, angry, bitter, and then I end up being an idiot and hurting myself. But the bottom line is, it got old. You're just like, it's the body of Christ. It seems like Christians are just like, give me a lie today and I'll follow it. Everyone in the White House knew that it was a lie. So why did Christians buy into it? Why was it the evangelical community that so much bought into the election lie hoax? Why? What is it in the mind of a Christian to do that? Because your allegiance was to a political party and not to Scripture. We have a moral responsibility to be on the side of the truth. That's the thing that we have to take from this. So we got to be careful what we say and investigate. And if we don't know, we don't say. And you better have done due diligence and making sure what you say is and listen. Okay, so that's it. We got to be on the side of the truth. Number 2, when we find out that we weren't on the side of the truth, when we find out that we shared a lie, then we just go back to everyone and go, hey guys, hey, back there when all this was going on, I posted a bunch of stuff on social media, and you know what? I was wrong. It was a lie. Everyone in the Trump administration knew that it was a lie, and I bought into the lie, and I shared it. And you know what, guys, I'm sorry. Just humble yourself and say, I was wrong. I was wrong. It was my fault. Look, and I'm not saying it's that easy. Okay, I don't want you to think it's just so easy just to say it's my fault. It was wrong. No, it's hard because it's humiliating and it's embarrassing. But it's the least we can do is just say, hey, we got it wrong. I've gotten things wrong. You've gotten things wrong. It's just admit it. Next time, focus on being on the side of the truth. But when you aren't on the side of the truth, just admit it. Just acknowledge that you were not on the side of the truth. Number 3. So number 1, you got to try to be on the side of truth. Number 2, when you're not, you need to be willing to own up to it and apologize. Number 3, I think this is an important one. We need to see that lying. I think we need to see the sinfulness of lying. We need to see the sinfulness and how much God detests and hates lying lips, that they're an abomination. I think we've lost the idea that lying is a sin. Other things are still we have our list of mortal sins. That's a big one. But like a pastor can do some things and everybody's like, that's the end. He's done. He's finished. He should never breathe again. And he should be killed and buried. But a pastor standing out behind a pulpit, just straight up lying, and spreading forth the lie of the election being stolen, that nobody even cares. He doesn't even have to apologize. Nobody cares. Well, wait a minute. God, it's an abomination. So when the Bible literally says something is an abomination, we don't care. And when the other thing, how do we do that? We've lost the idea that lying is an abomination. But I saw it during the pandemic. Pastors just saying absolutely outlandish and not true things. I saw it after so much with Donald Trump, just straight up lies, absolute lies from the pulpit. And none of those pastors don't even get it. There's not even nobody even cares that they lied. They don't even care. That's how bad the situation has gotten. It's just, we've got to get back to seeing it as an abomination. I've been guilty of the abomination. You've been guilty of it because we've all lied. All right. I think it's important. So number 1, we got to be on the side of truth. We got to be on the side of truth. Number 2, we've got to apologize when we're not. Number 3, we've got to get back to seeing the sinfulness of lying. And number 4, I think we have to just see the damage that lying can lead to. I mean, if you watch the video they showed tonight during the January 6th committee of the people breaking into the Capitol building, it's horrific to watch. It's horrible. It's hard to even believe it's true. And it all started because of a lie. A lie led to it. A lie. What have your lies led to? How have your lies hurt people? I've hurt people horribly with lies. And I bet you have as well. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. Put away lying and speak the truth with every person. That's pretty basic Christianity. Somewhere, because of politics, because of conspiracy theories, Christianity has thrown out the sinfulness of lying, and we have embraced lying and false information for political agenda, for political benefit, and just because we've, abandoned the truth. You can tell me what you think by emailing me at newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. That's newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. I just wanted to share this because I just finished watching the January 6th committee hearing. It was, 2 hours long? And it bothered me greatly. A lot of you are going to hear this, and all you're going to hear is politics. No, it's about the biblical idea of lying. And the church bought into the lies. The church, Christians. I don't care what the world did. I don't care what Republicans or Democrats did. It's what the body of Christ did. Pastors did. Christian radio did. That is what bothers me. And that's what's bothered me through the entire ordeal. That's what's bothered me during so much of the pandemic situation. It's just fraudulent, false lies, misinformation being put forth by the body of Christ. We should be the place people look to for truth. But we can't even get simple things right, including me. I mean, we're all guilty of this. We're all involved in this. All right. Thanks for listening. Again, newsif@yahoo.com. God bless.